Good a- Luckily, it wasn't my hand. Good afternoon. I would like to call the April 13th board meeting to order and ask that you join in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now would you please rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. And now I will read our mission statement. The Waterloo Schools will set the standard for urban education by ensuring that every student is given the comprehensive support and diverse experiences needed to graduate with a diploma and a plan. The next item on our agenda is information from individuals and delegations. This is the opportunity where those who wish to address the school board may do so. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. I will hold agenda. At times, we'll try to help with information before or after a board meeting, but we have to proceed with our board meeting agenda items. With that being said, I would wish to invite anyone who wishes to address the board this evening to please come to the microphone, make sure the green light is on, and start by stating your name and address. Came at the right time. All right. Seeing none, we'll move on with the other items on our agenda. That brings us to item 5, a school presentation from Pointer Elementary School. And I see Principal Jen Willen here. Oh, we got some instruments. Okay. Yep. And we'll have the Pointer staff tell us a little bit of all the great things that are happening at Pointer Elementary School.
Nope.
Make sure the light is on.
There we go.
There you go.
Okay. Hello. Welcome on this Monday night. We have several great things going on at Pointer this year. We started some families has been our theme this year. So we created families within our school that mixes grade levels and kids and adults, takes them to do different activities, whether it is a service project that they're doing for someone or they're playing games together like families do, just to give them that environment that, school is like a family as well. And when we were trying to decide what we were going to bring to present here, we decided to see what the kids wanted us to share. And Miss Mensing is our music teacher. This is her second year at Pointer. She has some exciting things that the kids have gone pretty crazy over. So I will let her take it from here.
Good evening. You're much taller than I. My name is Tiffany Mensing, and I am proud to serve as an elementary music educator at Pointer. I'm here to share the impact that WSF grant-funded keyboards have already had and will continue to have on our students at Pointer, and with our school culture and just our music program as a whole. This year, our school was fortunate to receive a class set of keyboards through grant funding with the WSF. What might seem like a simple addition to the classroom has truly transformed the way that our students are experiencing music. The impact on student engagement has been immediate and powerful. Students who are typically hesitant to participate are now very eager to try and be very hands-on. They're excited to come to music class because they know they will be actively creating music themselves. This excitement carries over into attendance, and students want to be at school when they feel successful and involved and are doing something fun that they enjoy. These keyboards have also strengthened our school culture. In the music room, students are learning more than just notes and rhythms. They are experiencing perseverance as they practice new skills, confidence as they play independently, and collaboration as they share ideas and support one another. There's a sense of pride that comes from saying, I can play this. So many kids lately have been, look what I can play, look what I can play. And it's Mary Had a Little Lamb, and it's endearing. It's so heartwarming. And, you know, there are many, many studies about music and how it impacts us. And one of them is, according to the American Psychological Association, in a study of over 100,000 students found that those involved in music received outstandingly higher scores on science, math, and English exams compared to their non-musical peers. In the same study, they said that those who had been playing a musical instrument since elementary school hadn't just scored higher, but were nearly a whole academic year ahead in science, math, and English learning. So music is really powerful, not only with the musical aspect, but also with the academic. Perhaps most importantly, these keyboards represent a long-term investment in our music program. They are not a one-time expense. They are sustainable and will serve our students for years to come. These keyboards are also incredibly versatile. They allow us to teach foundational skills and like melody, harmony, while also opening the door to composition, technology, and just modern music making. In closing, I would just like to express and emphasize the importance of continuing to invest in the arts and specials as a whole. These keyboards have already made a long-lasting impact on our students. They're so excited, always hearing, can we do pianos? Can we do pianos? It's a constant. They're really enjoying it. And, you know, it's just changing our school culture and the strength of our music program. And I hope that their value will only continue to grow. I would like to highlight a couple of the cool things that these can do. So they are battery powered. They've got our normal piano sound. Turn her up a little bit. We've got trumpet. Classroom of 25 kids goes crazy with that one. They've got drum sounds. This is where it starts getting really fun. We've got the beats that kids can play their own melodies to. And they just eat it up. And my room is so loud, and is full of so much genuine music making, and the kids are just really enjoying it. So I just wanted to highlight that and share that with you.
Do you have any questions for us?
Of course. What percentage of the kids participate in, number one, the overall family within schools, and number two, in the music in particular?
100%. Every child is assigned a family in our school, so
Okay.
every staff member has a family. And as for music, we have 2 extended core programs at our school, and they attend families and they get to play on the keyboards. So kindergarten through 5th grade, every child will get to play on these pianos.
I think the only grade that hasn't done pianos yet is 3rd, because we're already doing ukuleles. So I don't want to start them on a 2nd instrument yet. So get done with that and then go into pianos.
And is that a separate, is music part of your prescribed curriculum?
Yes, it's one of the rotations that we have for specials.
So it's a part of the year. So how many weeks?
They go, at elementary, we are on a 3-day rotation. So every 3 days, they get music, art, or PE.
Okay, thank you.
By the end of this year, if my math is right, we'll have seen the kids 55 different times for specials with those 3-day rotations.
How much was it? How much was it to be able to purchase your classroom set? Do you remember?
Yeah. So each keyboard is $90 individually, and then I got a class set, which is $25, and that was $2,200 in some odd sense.
So she wrote the grant
Yeah.
with Waterloo Schools Foundation and was able to receive full funding for the set.
It's very cool. Grant writing is not my forte, but so I know it's not easy. You said they're battery powered. Do they like plug in? Or do you go through a lot of batteries or?
We have got some reusable batteries that
Oh, perfect.
we'll plug back in. They do have a power adapter. It is more expensive, and I would
Okay.
have to have 25 outlets in my room. So batteries seemed a little easier on that end.
Have you had any students express interest in taking music lessons further now since they've been exposed to piano?
Yeah, I think a lot of, especially kinder. I've done a lot of just experimenting, just push a button, see what happens with them. And I think they're really getting into that. And I've had kids come back and say, my grandma has a piano at her house, and I was able to show her this or whatever. And I really think they're getting into it, which is great.
Good.
We have some students that have started taking piano lessons since then within the community.
Oh, that's great. That's I know our first two pianos were, it's amazing. I don't think they were both people getting rid of pianos, and we were able, get them, they weren't the best piano, but they were good for kids to learn on and stuff. So that's good to see that, you're fostering some interest there. So.
So what is your favorite part of being a music teacher?
I love that I am K-5. I get to see the kids growing up. I get to see them develop. I couldn't imagine being a classroom teacher, having kids for a year and passing them on. Like, I get to see them throughout, and, being able to come back one year and say, all right, let's see what we remember. And the kids that actually remembered those things, oh, that just hits me right in that teacher heart. Just being able to see that overall long-term growth.
So are you the one that develops the lesson plan then?
Yes.
What resources do you have, or is this just all by yourself?
So for most lesson plans, we use the district purchase curriculum game plan. That is a very baseline. I also supplement with just other experience that I have attending conferences, as well as Purposeful Pathways is another curriculum set we use. For pianos in particular, I am using Music Will, one of their piano books, and then just, again, experience that I've had with between student teaching and what I'd learned with piano, and the kids I'm kind of learning along with the kids, seeing what works and what doesn't, so.
Have you used the piano in any of your concerts?
Not yet. But although Kinder is begging, they have their concert on Thursday, and they're like, "Can we play it with our concert?" We gotta learn where the notes are first. We gotta slow down a little bit.
We just got them about a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 months ago, yeah.
So we'll watch that next.
Yeah.
Just a quick question, the theme families this year. The families outside, are they involved with the families inside the school?
That's a really great question. Not within our actual school families, but we are getting ready to plan a leadership event where we will be able to have their families come and learn about the school families. So we're looking forward to that.
I thought I had a little bit more time. Your presentation is fitting for me. Normally, I printed something off and I wanted to share it. I was going to share it during my board comments. Of course, we never know what schools are going to come. We don't get the information ahead of time, so we don't know what you're coming to present. And generally, by the time the end of our meeting is upon us, the gallery is normally pretty shallow or pretty empty. But tying in, the grant and the music department, I believe we all received a email from a fifth grade student at Orange Elementary School, talking about, in a sense, what you're bringing for your presentation, and that's music and the specials with music, art, and PE, and the importance of having those in the school buildings, in the elementaries in particular. So this young fifth grade student took the time to email us each, I sure we all got this. Email us each. And it's highlighting how important music and PE and art is for the students. So you just allow me to give my board update early, but we do appreciate, first of all, appreciating you investing in your students enough that you would write the grant and receive the grant to bring those keyboards or pianos into your classroom so that your students can learn and experience something that they may not have done if you hadn't done that. So kudos to you of taking the initiative to do that. But then giving them something, and what the young lady wrote was that if there wasn't art or music or PE, and it sounds like she polled a few of her friends, that school would be boring. That's just one of the things. School would be boring. They wouldn't enjoy it as much. And then not taking anything away from core teachers, but it seems like that's the excitement is participating in those things. So thank you again for taking the time out to present to us, and then writing the grant for your students to be able to participate in those things. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And these are just for information only. The next item on our agenda is a school presentation from Cunningham School for Excellence. And I see we have Principal Miss Michaela Montgomery and her team as they make their way to the front. And they'll tell us all the great things that are happening at Dr. Walter Cunningham School for Excellence.
All right, good evening, everyone. I'm Michaela Montgomery. I'm the principal, and I am here just to introduce the crew behind me who is going to be presenting on our Celebrating Our Differences event, which this year marks our second annual time for our Cunningham Multicultural Night that is happening this Thursday. So there's your little invite. Stop by, and they will kind of provide some information with you about this event, but then also how it ties into the culture of Cunningham.
My name is Destiny, and I'm going to be talking about our passport to the world. For our Celebrating Differences event is intended for our school community to learn about and enjoy all our differences and cultures. We have over 15 displays with information about traditions, languages, and customs from each country or culture represented within the halls at Cunningham. We also get to taste test different snacks like Marshallese gummy bears soaked in soy sauce and Kool-Aid, Venezuelan empanadas, Mexican galletas, and Burmese spring rolls. This is a fun way to experience culture through flavor. We also hold performances, such as the gospel choir led by Mr. Evans, the Crusaders drill team, songs in native languages, and traditional Bosnian dances. Everyone has a chance to learn something new and appreciate what makes each of us unique.
We've got one more student that's on his way, but we'll come back to his when he gets here. So this slide just shows some of the countries and cultures that we have represented currently at Cunningham. Obviously, this changes year to year as we get new students in and students moving out, but really well represented by a pretty diverse list of countries and cultures, which we're really, really proud of at Cunningham. Again, like Mrs. Montgomery said, I know some of you got a physical invite. I know Mr. Kressig, Mrs. Schmidt, Dr. Smith, you hopefully got your invites last week. But we'd invite you to join us on Thursday at 5 o'clock at Cunningham. One thing in addition to what our students put on that we're really proud of with this event is the way that we partner with some of our partners in ed and some other members of the community. So these just name a few that have been involved both last year or this year or both. But Waterloo Public Library, Community Bank and Trust, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. This year we have the Crusaders Drill Team from Union Missionary Church that's going to be joining us and performing, which we're really excited about. The Kudkalo Bosnian Dance Group, led by Zulfeta Rizvik and some others. Girl Scouts of America, and then we've had really good involvement from some of our own native language interpreters within the district and in our building. So we're really thankful for the ways that they've been able to partner with us and make connections with some of our students that we maybe otherwise wouldn't be able to connect.
One thing we were really excited about last year is that this has been our highest attended family event to date. We were honestly shocked by the amount of people that came in the door, so we are hoping to beat that again this year. So we hope to see some of your faces among them. One of the things that is really exciting about this event is sort of the branding of it. It's very inclusive, very unifying in our building. We did t-shirts last year, the We Are Cunningham in different languages. We got these this year with all the different flags around them, and it just creates a lot of excitement for the event, and people wear them throughout the year. It was part of really what made this event what it was last year, and we're looking to continue that again this year.
And as you know, climate and culture is tied to our SIP plan, and we just came in third amongst all of the buildings in the district under culture and climate. So at Cunningham, we're really intentional in in building that climate and culture both for staff and students. And the Celebrating Our Differences event allows us to really make sure that all of, not just students, but also staff and our families know that everyone belongs at Cunningham. And we also know that that also helps our attendance, which is another part of our school improvement plan. So.
Okay, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Miguel. I'm in 5th grade. I'm from Cunningham School. This event helps build and celebrate our community. We learn about more than 15 countries and cultures represented by students and families at Cunningham. This helps everyone better understand and respect each other's backgrounds. This is also great for teachers and staff to help build their cultural knowledge so they can better support all students. Families are invited to join the event, which is outside of school hours, and it is a fun and welcoming time for everyone. The event also connects families with community partners and organizations that can support them. Thank you.
All right, and then just to end our presentation, first of all, thank you to Destiny and Miguel for being willing to be up here and being brave to be up here. We have a lot of students that we could choose, of course, but these are just two examples of some of the really, really awesome leaders that we have at Cunningham, and we're really proud to have them up here with us. So just to end our presentation, we have kind of a recap video from our event last year that was up on all of our socials that we want to share for you. I think the audio is going to get cut for the live stream, but those in the room will be able to hear it. Thank you, guys. I'm sure there's probably some questions.
Yep. Before we get to questions, great job, students. Staff, would you please state your name and what position that you hold in the building?
Lindsay Hine, Assistant Principal.
Sorry, I should have led with that. Jake Hartman, I'm the ELL teacher at Cunningham.
Abby Brees, Title I.
Okay. Any questions? I know they're not going to let you off the hook, so somebody's going to ask a question.
I'm just curious, how many interpreters do you have? To what extent do the different cultures bring in a language challenge? And to what extent are you able to use it to actually broaden the overall culture?
Say that first part again. I didn't catch the first part of your question.
Wondering how many interpreters you need
Gotcha.
to accommodate, to be able to communicate with all the different cultures.
Yeah, so we have one. We share halftime in our building and halftime at Irving, one Spanish interpreter, Mrs. Garcia, who is in the hallway, I think, is Miguel's mother. And then we utilize a lot of the district interpreters that are shared across all buildings. So currently in our building, we utilize the Burmese interpreter, William. We utilize the Marshallese interpreter, Jolene. We utilize Jackson, who's the Haitian Creole interpreter. And I would say we're really well covered by that staff and the work that they do, as well as some of the other tools that we have at our disposal for translation and interpretation. But really thankful for the work that group does, because that helps us bridge a lot of that communication with families.
So to what extent is the interpretation needed, and to what extent, are they fluent enough in English to be able to receive instruction?
I would say a lot of the we're fully covered with the interpretation. It kind of depends year to year and student to student on what those needs look like. But I would like to think that between our staff and our interpretation staff and others, that we're pretty well covered.
So are you getting in new students who aren't fluent at all in English every year, or these different cultures, are they for the most part already or have become fluent in English?
So Cunningham is always getting new students. That's just about our culture. But as far as the languages, more recently, it's just been of our students who speak Spanish. Last year, we did get a family from Jordan where the students spoke very little English, but between our team and some of the people in the community, we were able to navigate and help them get going. And they are now speaking very good English and being able to thrive in the classroom.
Thank you.
I was just interested. I had seen for Cherokee Nation. How many students do you have that represent Cherokee Nation? One. Yep. Is there any more across the district, or is that, anybody know?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
Probably a couple.
Yeah.
Couple.
One thing I will say that Mr. Hartman is very intentional about as our ELL teacher is making sure that every single student's culture and background is represented within our building, from flags hanging up or whatever, and it could just be one single student. And some of those flags might just be one family or a handful of students, and he's always very intentional about making sure they feel seen and welcome in our building.
We've had really good, so like with the student who is representing that Cherokee Nation, her family helped build her a poster board. Her and her family worked together to build a poster board for the event last year. So some involvement there as well from the family to be able to show some of that off and highlight, which is really fun.
Oh, that's neat.
I was going to just say thank you so much for celebrating the differences. This seems like a really neat event, and hopefully I'll be able to make it this time. What does the planning look like? Are students involved with the planning with the event each year, along with the staff, or what does that look like? And great job, Miguel and Destiny. Nice job, and thanks for being here tonight. But what does that planning look like?
So Mr. Hartman and a couple other teachers are the heart behind all of that. I can literally say it starts from the beginning of the school year till then. It was an idea I had throughout last year. I'm like, hey, Mr. Hartman, sounds like something that's in your field house. Let's, put those leadership skills to work. But there are committee meetings that are happening monthly. He is also pulling in students during his planning time and things of that sort. There's the coordinating of all of the different community members and PI members, just to get all of them going. We have one big, large document now that has come along from all of the planning that has taken place this year. As far as the kiddos, it's talking about, hey, what snacks or foods would be great from your culture to represent, to, hey, what could we also represent in the poster form and things like that for the event. So there's a lot of hands in it. We got our art teacher, we have other classroom teachers who are helping with artwork and things of that sort to try and bring it together.
Well, thank you. Such an educational moment. Thank you.
We'll see you there.
Got a haircut at 5:15, but I will try to make it quick.
If I come, I'm bringing my appetite, so be ready. Any more questions? Great job, students and staff. Thank you. Great job. Well done. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, item 8, evidence-based professional development grant. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education accepts and acknowledges with gratitude the evidence-based professional development grant in the amount of $300,000 from the Iowa Department of Education as presented.
Second.
Thank you. And we have Ms. Dana Harshkamp, Director of School Improvement, here to give us a little bit more information about this.
Well, I don't know how you follow that, but I am super excited to come today and formally ask for your approval, which I appreciate that, just getting done. But just to give you a little bit of information and background, this was a new grant that we had the opportunity to pursue this year. Like you just heard, it was a grant that was provided by the Iowa Department of Education. The purpose of the grant, though, and the grant funds is that it's intended for professional learning, which could include professional learning trainings and learning sessions, implementation support, coaching, and also support in the development of our systems, both at the building and at the district level. The grant really supports the implementation of our school improvement plans and also our implementation of our IDEA, which is our special education department plan. We applied for the maximum amount, which was $300,000, and we were awarded that maximum amount. So we're super excited that we were, like I said, awarded that entire sum. In order to determine just our needs across the system, I partnered with the building principals to really determine what it was that they were looking for, and the department leaders, what it was that they were looking for as far as professional learning support. The goal was really to find a way to ensure that we had access to professional learning and support while also thinking about relief to the general fund. And so based on those building and department needs, we've worked in collaboration together to determine those needs, write those into the grant, and also work in partnership with like AEA supports to be able to access those services going even into next year. In addition, I know many of you are well aware that we at the elementary level have been engaging in letters professional learning, and that's been ongoing. We were able to basically be able to pay for all of that learning both this year and next year and use this professional development grant to relieve the general fund with those expenses, but continue that great learning and that great work. So we're super excited that we've been able to, or will be able to use the funding to continue and grow and impact student outcomes. So thank you for your approval and acceptance of that. We're looking forward to putting it to good use.
Are there any stipulations or limitations on what professional development you have to be using the money for?
So you have to have written it in the application and gotten that approved as part of the process when you write the grant. And so the Department of Education has looked at, for any of you who have written a grant before, it's a pretty extensive process. And so we, like I said, have partnered with the buildings and the departments to determine those areas of need, then wrote those into the grant. But the stipulation really is it has to center around professional learning. There's no other use that the funding could be used for, only professional learning. But like I said, it could be in the form of trainings or sessions provided. It could be also coachings and supports and implementation of our action plans in partnership with expert consultants and things like that that might help us to make sure those strategies are being implemented and embedded into just day-to-day learning as well.
How much is the letters training?
So we, this year, our entire elementary staff was in the middle of getting trained the second year. And that entire training, both and the coaching that went along with it, was like $65,000.
Okay.
So of the 300,000, could you give a rough breakdown of what that pays for?
Yeah, absolutely. So the letters professional development that Stacey had just asked about, both this year and then also to be able to onboard staff for next year. Obviously, we'll have new teachers coming in that we want to make sure have access to that same learning. So that was written into the grant, and that was roughly about $16,000 that we were projected to be able to spend. Then the buildings also, like I said, we partnered to determine needs, and the vast amount of the needs were literacy supports, professional learning in the area of literacy, also things that they were wanting to sustain, things that they've started with professional learning that they want to continue. And so there is another about, at the elementary level, just about $146,000 in literacy professional learning, and then at the secondary level, another about $30,000 for secondary supports. And then also some math professional learning, and all of this is tied to their school improvement plans that they're projecting needs for going into the next year.
So you're paying for curriculum or time to attend?
No curriculum we aren't able to use this grant for any curriculum. It would be the learning. So all professional development, all professional learning in order to increase student achievement, in order to impact or implement the school improvement plans that they have set aside. So it's learning for the adults in order to then go implement things in the classroom.
Are you paying for consultants to come in and deliver? Or
Yep, delivery, so consultant support to deliver, consultant support to coach around implementation. All of those things can be accessed through the grant.
Like, who would these consultants be?
You could be partnering with AEA consultants, so literacy consultants, math consultants, behavior consultants. All of those would be part of the opportunity for the grant.
So Lyle, when we found out that we had the ability to get this grant, we really had to put our heads together to come up with a plan that would meet the many requirements that the state gave us. Mm-hmm. To be told, yeah, right. I need to articulate better. To be told in, was it February? Mm-hmm. That you need to have a plan for this to be spent essentially by July 1st, or
we had about a month to apply, and then within middle of February, they were going to approve. They had asked for it to be spent and services rendered by the end of June. That's not feasible. So we did work with the Department of Ed to get those services and learning put in place for next year.
So I think by us advocating to give us more flex, they brought this straight to the top of the Department of Ed to give us, in my opinion, to give us flexibility, because we actually had a meeting set up with some of their leadership, and they said, let us check with it might have been probably not the governor, but pretty high up. So what she's laying out was the best we could come up with to spend it, and actually came out pretty good. But the state is so tricky with their requirements of how you spend money, and their timeframes are so short that the fact that we came up with this and pulled it off and got all the money was pretty remarkable. I think that's a takeaway I want you guys to know, is that we had to scramble to pull this off, to really, I've said this, half of our work, I think, during the day is how can we find ways to spend money, not the general fund? And this is a prime example of that.
So this is congratulations, is a significant amount of money, but if I'm understanding it right, it's kind of an extension, but also an overlap of what we get from AEA services.
We actually have to pay for any of those services now. It's a fee-for-service model. So if we would want to access any of those, we have to physically pay for those. There's no flow-through dollars anymore when it comes to educational services. So that's a cost and expense. We want to make sure we still have continued access, but if we wouldn't have written the grant, we would have been paying those in other funding streams, the general fund potentially, building budgets, potentially some 1003 or school improvement funds, but we wanted to free all of those funding streams up to be able to use them for other things, because this is specific to professional development, and professional learning and consultants were one piece of that.
Okay, that explains it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You mentioned about determining the needs. How exactly what was kind of that rubric that you kind of used to understand, some schools?
Yeah, great question. So it's anchored into building school improvement plans for sure, because they've identified their needs. They have done an extensive analysis with data. They have assessed their needs across their multi-tiered system of support. So they do that on an ongoing basis. But I partnered with the leaders of the buildings to then say, how do we ensure all of those action steps are supported and there's professional learning for your staff to make sure those plans can continue and you can reach the goals you've set for yourself. So principals meetings and also like feedback forms were gathered, and all of that was collected to then create the plan, basically in conjunction with all of the building leaders as well.
Also, you mentioned about, I just want to make sure, with professional development, does that kind of flow into possibly, like with how teachers can, different techniques of class management or that kind of thing? That would definitely, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that buildings said that they really needed was some support around behavior supports and best practices, and being able to partner alongside not just learning, but also potentially having somebody who could walk alongside them and develop systems and coach them as they're implementing strategies. And so that's written into the grant as well.
It'd be nice to, it mentions here closing the achievement gap. So it would be nice to kind of see the before and after, and also probably throughout the process.
Absolutely.
Because I would like to definitely hear some of the progress that we have made, but understanding, this is where we're starting.
Yeah. Absolutely. We monitor our progress. We can definitely make sure it's connected as well and report back.
So is there an after-action report that is required by the grant?
Not necessarily as part of the grant. Once we wrote the grant, then they are going to, we have requirements as far as how we submit claims and things for the grant, but not necessarily an after-action report is required this time.
Do you know how many of these were awarded throughout the state?
That's a great question. You were reading my mind earlier. I thought maybe somebody's going to ask me that. It was a small handful that were awarded. I could look it up for you, Stacy, and I can get that to you. But if I'm recalling the document, it was less than 10.
Good questions. Anything else? All right. Thank you. Thank you for all your work on that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So we got to vote, though. We got to vote. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried.
Thank you so
for your
much.
work on that. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, item 9. And this is just for information only. It's the School Improvement Advisory Committee, SIAC recommendations. And I see we have Dr. Shar in the crowd. The Waterloo School School Improvement Advisory Committee, facilitated by Dr. Charlotta Sutton, is a diverse group of representatives charged with advising the Board of Education and district leadership. The committee provides strategic recommendations in several critical areas, and I'll let Dr. Shar and her team take it from here to give us a little bit more information. Thank you. Good evening.
Dana Harskamp, Director of School Improvement.
I'm Robert Tyson, community member, former teacher and administrator in the Waterloo Schools.
Heidi Drenner, I'm a family support worker for the Waterloo Schools located at Highland and Bunger.
Simona Boroyanu, ELL coordinator. I'm Abby Kilstoff. I'm the At-Risk and Learning Support Coordinator for Highland Elementary.
I'm Samantha Frost. I'm a 5th grade teacher at Highland.
So this is part of my new charge, and I'm really excited for these people to be a part of our group. They bring so much to the group. And I just wanted to read our purpose. The purpose of the School Improvement Advisory Committee is to make recommendations to the school board that reflect the district's needs and initiatives, promote staff and student belonging, and support the continuous improvement of education in Waterloo. So all of us know that we really had to go away with DEI. But we want everyone to know that we are still about inclusion practices and belongingness for all students and staff. And so part of what we do is school improvement and belongingness and inclusion. And these fine individuals are going to take away with the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. The SIAC committee, this has been a 2-year process in that a large group of staff members, community members, parents, teachers, people that just really care about our kids got together and wanted to talk about the things that we find important for our students. So we kind of narrowed it down to 5 different categories. Glasses may help for this. Behavior, professional learning, communication, attendance, and community involvement. I sit on the attendance team for Highland and Bunger, and I'm very passionate about attendance for our school district. So we see the positive trend that our attendance is trending in that right direction. But one thing that we really like to talk about in this group is that we want to express our deepest gratitude to our families and staff for the hard work in pursuing and achieving this positive trend. We encourage everyone to let's continue to make the attendance for our Waterloo School Districts a priority. I will let Dana talk on the data behind this.
So as the SIAC committee has been anchoring in their recommendations, I really wanted to set the stage with some data so that you understood, where the recommendations are coming from and also where we're at. And so like Heidi just shared, these are just some current data pieces for you to be aware of, but the top screenshot is a trend line for our average daily attendance, or what we would say our ADA. Our goal is to get to 95% average daily attendance, but you can see that right now we're at 93%, and that trend over time continues to increase. And so that's really an important piece that, like we said, we want our kids here every single day, and that's going up. The next screenshot is actually some trends around chronic absenteeism, and that's a big part of our work as well. Chronic absenteeism across the system is something we're focusing on, and right now to date you can see that our trend is going down, which is what you want it to do when it comes to chronic absenteeism. But in comparison to where we ended last year, which was 22.91, we're right now sitting at 20.14% across the system, and our goal by the end of the year is to get to 20% or less. And so we're definitely trending in the right direction. We monitor this goal in comparison even to year over year. And right now we're, compared to last year, we're down just about by 2% year over year as well. So we're super excited about that trend. And then this screenshot just tells you by level, elementary, middle school, and high school, that each one of those areas, which levels are trending in the right direction. And so we are confident that we continue to put the supports in place. We're going to continue to see great outcomes with attendance. But like Heidi said, we also want to just say thank you to all of our families and community for partnering with us in this work, because it definitely takes an entire village to make this happen.
And feel free to step into any school and you'll see all the work that's being done towards attendance and all the things that they're putting in place. So Sam, I'll let you take it.
So Heidi kind of went over our
big ideas initially. And we decided, because some of the things we initially talked about were actually going better than we thought they were, we wanted to focus on 3 things, and really 2 of them kind of go hand in hand. So we're focusing on communication and community engagement, which kind of go together, and then professional learning. Specifically in regards to communication, we have started to implement this a little bit already with community highlights of our students currently, and putting those up on Facebook. And in a moment, I'll have Dana come over and kind of talk specifically about the data with that. But there's been so much importance with our social media engagement, and I think that's also contributed to the increase in attendance and all of the great things that we're seeing in the schools. But we have some other ideas of things that we thought would be nice to highlight and focus on. So looking at some of our successful graduates and highlighting them, and looking at local businesses that are Waterloo community graduates and focusing on those businesses and highlighting them. And then just kind of providing our families with resources for things that they may not be aware of, and then doing some alumni celebrations as well. So if you want to talk about the data.
So this data that you're seeing is actually from the School and Community Relations Department, and this isn't data necessarily that we as a whole system look at all that often, but I think it tells the story as to why the SIAC committee is recommending this particular next step. The screenshot up above is last year's social media engagement, and if you look at the very last number there where it says 19 days, 8 hours, that basically speaks to the number of hours in total that our social media platforms and the posts were viewed. This was prior to when they started their new initiative with the Flip the Script and also highlighting the students and the teachers. The second screenshot actually shows you what those current engagements are, and if you look at the total time, you see 41 days and 2 hours. So take a look at the difference between that's after they actually went through and put the Flip the Script campaign, and also the teacher highlights and spotlights. So what we're learning is we get high engagement and a lot of activity when it comes to our social media posts, when we're highlighting our students, when we're highlighting success stories, and we're highlighting our teachers. And so that's where the recommendation is coming from. A next step is to bridge that with highlighting some of our graduates. What have they done with their diploma and a plan? What are the things that we can have our students aspiring to do? And so thinking about using our platform to be able to highlight those success stories is where their recommendation is coming from, in partnership with that community, our Student Community Relations Department. What else would you add to that?
I think that's really it. And then this was just kind of the data of Waterloo's social media involvement compared to some of the other major districts in state.
And you can see that it's at the top, so.
And then, like I said, community engagement as well, and partnerships. So focusing on building partnerships within the community. Yes, we already do have some partnerships established, but really trying to focus on community organizations and leading and co-planning school events. And then I know we've talked with Emily Frederick. She's been in and out of some of our meetings, and she really wants to champion this and kind of get involved with this as well. And then just having a shared vision. So trying to get the community involved so that we're able to feel like a community and a part of the community. Sometimes we feel like there can be that divide, and wanting to have that inclusion and belonging for the community, staff, students, everybody. And currently we do have 170 plus community partnerships, including Partners in Education, the WCC, and then just different business partners, and then some local organizations who help provide support and services to our students, but just kind of trying to increase a little bit and get more involved in the community.
All right, I got the big slide. I'm going to touch on our last big chunk of this when it comes to our recommendations and sort of our wish list, if you will, and that's enhancing professional learning. If I could direct your attention to the graphs kind of on the right. I know they're a little tough to see, but that's our building behavior summaries across the district. And before I get started with our material on the left, I'll let Dana kind of walk you through that.
So this is data that basically, new data actually, that we've been looking at across the system this year, in particular in a usable report. But what you're seeing is behavior summary data across our district for students who are considered Tier 1, which means they have 0 to 1 referrals, Tier 2, which is 2 to 5 referrals, and then Tier 3, 6 or more referrals. And so I think the great celebration is you're looking at the trends in comparison. You want that Tier 1 obviously to continue to increase. You want to have the vast majority of our students in Tier 1, which you can see in comparison to last year, a huge increase, and that trend over time is what we're looking for, more students in that Tier 1. And so what you're seeing there is about 93% of our students right now are in that Tier 1, which is a huge celebration, and also things that we had talked about, obviously still areas to improve, but the growth over time and the trend is happening in the right direction. That's another huge shout out to all things that are happening in the buildings, and the supports that are being put in place.
And so in order to keep that needle sort of moving in the right direction, we're kind of looking at outside opportunities that aren't in the typical academic realm of professional development. And so in order to reach our major objective of supporting behavior and well-being and keeping those trends going in the right direction, that segues into our overall goal of belongingness and student support, we are looking at opportunities to better equip our teachers, especially when it comes to social emotional well-being, behavior support, responsiveness, cultural responsiveness, and empathy. I know U&I is a good starting point, and so we're kind of looking at opportunities in order to get a partnership maybe with them. I know there are poverty simulations, as you can kind of see under experiential learning. There are social emotional learning conferences held every year, trauma-informed care symposiums held every year, ethics trainings held every other year, I believe. So we're kind of just brainstorming and trying to find ways to get teachers, not just administrators, at-risk coordinators, counselors, to these trainings, getting the people who are on that ground level to these opportunities for continued learning, and making maybe staff designations, and then having those staff share that knowledge with the rest of the building. And so I think it's just really important that we all share a common language when it comes to supporting our students, whether it's socially, emotionally, or behaviorally. And so we think that would be a really good jumping off point when it comes to pursuing that belongingness across buildings. And so that's what we really want to do, is strengthen those connections between families, staff, the community, and I think that providing our teachers and our administrators, support staff, whoever is interested with these trainings and with this learning, increasing that transparency, support, and collaboration, that's really going to, like I said, move the needle towards better trends in behavior and social emotional well-being. And so it kind of brings me to my conclusion that these things are out there, these things are available, but we're just kind of looking for avenues in order to make them more accessible district-wide to a multitude of staff. And it doesn't have to be from top to bottom. We're really looking for a mixed population when it comes to people that have access to these trainings. And with that, I'll give it back to Dr. Shar for sort of closing remarks.
Well, but I think
Or who's next? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I have the last.
Hello again. I'm Robert Tyson. I just want to say this. I've talked to Dr. Sutter quite a few times. We've had lots of great conversations. This plan is very doable. Number one, they have a great board members. You're all great. You're going to help make this happen. You've got a great staff down here. It's going to make it happen. We've got probably the all-American staff of teachers and support staff in the Waterloo schools right here in Waterloo. Plus, we got parents that want to see this happen. We all want to see it happen, and the plan is very doable. And I just want to commend these folks. They work very hard on getting this together. So I just wanted to say that, and as I look back in my first day as a teacher, I shouldn't say that, not the first day, the first week, my principal came into my room and he said, "Mr. Tyson, here are the manuals. Here's the 7th grade language arts, social studies, go get them." It's a good way to start. But again, we're far beyond that. So again, I want to commend the board for giving Dr. Sutta and this group the mission to do this. Thank you again.
Well, thank you. That concludes our presentation, and we just have a slide that kind of tells, our recommendations. But I want to just echo what you have said, Mr. Tyson. I want to give esteem and thank you to Dana. She is fabulous. We didn't want to get up here without any data, and she helped us pull together our data because we know that all decisions need to be driven by data. And then I'd like to also thank each of our committee members, and as you can see, Highland is strongly represented. And I just want to say thank you all. Thank you so very much. Dr. Simona, everyone, thank you so much. I also want to say thank you to Dr. Smith. He came to one of our quarterly meetings. He presented the data, kind of got us, that was our springboard into the data, so I want to thank you as well. And then I want to say thank you to Director Stacy and Director Crystal, because we've seen them in our meetings as well. So now we would entertain questions, and we'll go from there. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for your hard work and dedication to this. When I first got on the board, Stacy said, "Crystal, you should go to these meetings." And I was excited, and I've truly enjoyed when I can make it. So my question is, it was stated, it's here, it's there, looking at these professional learning and behavior and well-being, the opportunities. How do we make it accessible? What needs to happen? What next steps do we need to take, especially this back page here when we're talking about equipping the staff, the resources, navigation, the strengthening connections, the educational forums? What needs to happen for us in order to make this accessible, to actually take some things from here and make it happen and take it to the next step so we can come up with the next plan?
I am going to only address one example to be more concrete as far as what it may look like. So in one of the slides, you could see a list of opportunities that could be developed for the staff to develop awareness or move forward 1 step, 10 steps, learn more about the students, learn more about each other. And we listed the poverty simulation. So I have had extensive experience with providing this training across the district, and I'm not going to describe it to you in a lot of detail, but picture this. Picture community members moving into our area from a different country or even from a different community, and they don't have a job, they don't have resources, they don't have tools, they don't have a network. And so community members or participants in this simulation are supposed to provide experiences for, it's a simulation, so we're working with staff, and we have stations that represent enrolling your child in a school, an employer, a bank, a pharmacy, medical. And so from my experience, there were some ones that I provided this simulation where I did not see people breaking. And this is just one snippet, one moment in time that you get to experience the stress of all of these situations that are new to a community member, let alone when we debrief talking about people to experience this for long periods of time, like months, maybe years, or maybe forever in their lives. So this is one way, like raising awareness and providing these very concrete opportunities for professional learning at a larger scale that can be consistent across the district, and then debriefed and decide on at each building, decide on the next steps. So I just wanted to provide an example of what this might look like.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I know poverty simulations take a lot of time and volunteers, and so I would like to personally volunteer our Wartburg College social work students, because they have participated in poverty simulations before and actually put some of them on across campus.
Well,
so please let me know.
We'll reach out, because it is very difficult to find volunteers, and then the training, it's extensive, and then the resources, learning, and then setting it up as close to reality as possible. It's indeed a huge undertaking. So yes, we will reach out.
Yes, and we have materials. I mean, we have these baby dolls. We have all sorts of stuff in these huge crates. I just need to find them. So you just let me know.
Well,
And we'll get it
We
together.
have a set ourselves.
Okay,
It's in the
okay.
basement at East High School, so.
There you go. Okay, well, let me know. I do think these things are very actionable. It's just, we just need to know what it takes to be accessible. We have to have these conversations. You talk about behavior, you talk about, I think about what Cunningham is doing, educational moments. So what can we do to provide those throughout the district? So let me know. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, and I think something else to kind of build off of that is it's going to have to be a partnership with some of the local colleges. And obviously we can't do that without the willingness from other places as well. And I know a lot of things that Abby was referencing, UNI provides. It's just, it tends to just go to these specific people like she was talking about and not all staff. So trying to make sure that all staff are informed of the things that are occurring.
And also making sure that there's time in the very busy academic calendar available so these teachers can participate and not miss out.
And if I can, one more thing, our parents want to see our kids challenged. They want to see them graduate. And you know, if this is CNN right now, come to be, there is a West High graduate. It sits at CNN. He kind of helps the news get directed out every night. So just want to let you know. So we want to bring some of those graduates back to Waterloo and engage them to show our kids what they can become.
Nice, nice. Is it possible, I just have a quick ask, is it possible that someone can share these slides, this presentation with the board?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yep, okay, thank you.
I think the content is really impressive, and of course, I love seeing graphs and charts and trend lines. So I think it's a really effective way to communicate. So I especially appreciate that. Because we're in a school choice environment, and these are impressive things, my mind immediately goes to marketing. How do we market this? And you spoke about communication. And when you think about marketing, you've got different audiences. First of all, the students need to be proud to be part of this, which they seemingly are, and the staff, as well as the staff. And probably even the partners. You know, you mentioned some communication with the partners, but the families and then the community at large, you know, is there a way to market this such that the family deciding where to send their kids can be somehow get a message? And again, every audience needs a little different message and a little different media to go through. So I guess I would just encourage to think a little bit in terms of a whole marketing program. This becomes part of a much broader, but I think we need to really be thinking in terms of marketing like we've never
Reach as many people as
thought
you
of
can.
before. And Mr. Tyson, you started marketing right there at the phone. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Something that we can help get, maybe Emily could help with something that too. She might have some ideas too on how to get the SIAC stuff out.
Yeah, we just wanted to reiterate again that this was a 2-year process of meeting and lots of collaboration. We spoke a lot on marketing and our ideas of what could work. And so just know that those conversations were had and they're going to be continued to be had, and ideas talked about, and just incorporating our whole community and what's best for our students. So it's definitely something that's going to be continued in the works. So
I was just going to say, like, I remember when, and a lot of this started, the fruition, or the beginning, happened when we were equity committee still. We were talking about like a district calendar, which we now have. But so some of this stuff, now the ball has to go into the district's court. So district's employees and leadership, how does that happen? What happens now to the things that are doable? And you're already doing some of them, like the spotlights with social media. What do we do? Who takes it?
Yeah, state. Oh, sure.
No, Dr. Smith, I yield to you.
I was like, all right, this is my time. I better like say something, right? So I see two things here. One, I see like the communication piece, and then the two I see is like professional development piece a little bit, right?
Yes.
So my first thought, and again, is as I'm sitting here, I've actually added an agenda item to our DLT agenda on Wednesday to talk about. I didn't even know this question was coming, but I put down SIAC recommendations. How do we ensure these recommendations? I even linked the agenda into our agenda are happening. Meaning, it's timely, right? There's two things that are going on right now. One is with our school community relations department. Is today we couldn't meet today, but we're reorganizing like what their focus is, and I think the first two major bullets is we bring this back to, and it's already been happening, but bring it back to school community relations and say, hey, here's the vision that the recommendation we got from SIAC. How do we see this make sure this happens? Some of these things are like, make so much sense. And I want to give you guys a lot of credit. Like we've been saying this for a while. You guys have been saying this, highlighting alumni. And how can we leverage them? How can we engage with them? The building partnerships. So there's so much going on. So I guess Stacy, like, you're right. Like they're saying this, district leadership is saying this, you guys are saying this. Like everybody's saying this, and Lyle, it's school choice, right? We got to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get that message out there. The second piece is professional learning. I literally sat in with teaching and learning today talking about professional learning. And what you said was, how do we find the time? That was a discussion we had this afternoon, literally for about 45 minutes, looking at all of our time next year, making sure we have all the time needed. It's very tough. We're limited to 7 days of PD, basically, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. It flies by, to deliver all these important things. So, Stacy, just rest assured that we're going to take the baton from this group, from 2 years worth of work, and making sure, it's not all going to happen overnight, but there's certainly some things that you're going to see here in the very near future. One thing, I won't go, there was one idea we had that I was like, I wonder if the board would be up for this, is, we've done, it's little, but we talked about like even getting a billboard or two up. And you guys nodding your head yes. I'm going to take that as a yes. Okay. Well, we're going to talk about that. About like how do we, as if Lyle nods his head yes, okay, we're good. Woo, move forward. But like, how do we really market ourselves, and what would be that message if we do have a couple billboards up? Like, what would be that message? Just to really make sure as you're driving down University, you're driving down LaPorte Road, that you're seeing what we're up to. It's some amazing things. So thank you. Very timely.
Can I just say one more thing? And I know all of you are busy, and I'll give Cedar Falls their kudos. I visited the new high school they have. It was fantastic. The new one we're going to build is going to be fantastic. But like I told one of the administrators, I said, wow, I wish I could come back to school again. Just looking at how the building is laid out, the activities that the students were doing and their engagement and the staff. And we're going to do the same thing in Waterloo. But one thing that might help, especially in our African American community, we've certainly got to keep doing a sales job in our new school. And it may take, I don't know, Crystal, a few Sundays, or maybe a few board members, go to a few of our churches, say a few things about what's happening in Waterloo and get their engagement. So I just wanted to say that. I know you're busy, for sure, but sit down, okay?
Yeah, we
Jared, have
we do discuss that.
We were talking about the alumni. Go ahead.
No.
We were just talking about the alumni piece. I've wondered, have we, because, success, is a big measure, right? I mean, we have success in all different levels. You can be a CEO of a bank, or you might just be a successful business person, a successful athlete. But have we looked at, like, with our WCC in particular, taking each of our career pathways and showing a successful person that came from our community that is in that particular pathway, like somebody who maybe started a electrical, a company, or a HVAC company, and they, and how that training there could translate to that.
You know, Jesse, I think that's a great. I can't say it within 100% for certain that we've done something pinpoint. Well, Lee might actually know if that's the case. But I don't think specific to what you're asking. I think we could do a better job of that.
Yeah,
I really do. I feel really good. I mean, this is what Lyle. I mean, Lyle's probably like, "Yep, that's what I've been saying, right?"
Yeah.
So we absolutely have some opportunities to talk about successes we're having within beyond the career center.
Yeah,
Yes.
see, I was just, because it just struck me as you're talking about, and just because my late neighbor was connected there, but his son started at Cedar Valley Electric. He was a West High grad, there's our electrical program, just those kind of things where you see successes coming through and how some of the training we're offering that, we can kind of say, hey, this is what some of our previous, our alumni have done with these same kind of skill sets and stuff. So
I know it's not tracked right now, but on the horizon.
For sure.
Maybe a way just to help engage where you can go. If you see somebody came from here and did the same thing, you might be more apt to, hey, I could do that too.
I know in the last few weeks that has been a major conversation. So, yeah, that's definitely the goal, to highlight those that came before us that benefited from the Waterloo Community Schools and have been successful in whatever avenue they've pursued. So, yeah, that's definitely been a strong conversation from one of my board members to my left. You're right. So absolutely, good question or good comment and question. Director Knight.
So I just want to mention, definitely what you're doing is definitely well needed. I wrote down some things about achievement gap, equipping staff, and classroom management. I think if we look at being intentional of what you're kind of bringing and what resources that we do have, I think we can make a real impression on that achievement gap. And I think that's something, I think that should be something that we need to really openly attack, is that achievement gap. The other thing is, I'm going to go a little bit of a step further about bringing, alumni and everything else. We got to define what our intentionality is. Our intentionality as a district of why we want this person to come back. They're going to talk about their experiences, but we got to make sure we create the story so when they do come back, the students will be able to grasp their experience. So I just want to mention that. And the last thing, y'all mentioned about tracking. That will give us the story plots on the intentionality of us being able to this one high school. So just want to mention that and thank each and every one of you of your time.
Thank you.
I think that may be it for you all. Hope it wasn't too rough on you. Thank you again for all your work.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. And that was just for information. And somebody, please don't forget, you can email it to Pam and she can get it out to the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Yep, thank you. Or Lee, yes, or Lee, I got you.
Dr. Shar,
Yep.
when do we start up again next year?
In the fall.
So it'll be near the beginning of the year though, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
And you're going to continue on
Yes,
with us?
ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Wonderful, thank you. Crystal? Wonderful, thank you.
All right. Yep. All right. And that was just for information only as well. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, item 10, District Food and Nutrition Program Update.
My name's Heather Bathan, Food Service Program Manager. I don't have any graphs for you, Lyle, sorry. If I would have known, I would have brought you some. I just thought I'd just give you guys an overview of our program. We have about 100 employees, 6 managers, We offer breakfast at all of our schools, lunch. We also do after-school snacks. We also had the fresh fruit and vegetable program in 9 of our elementary schools this year. It varies year to year on how many schools we have on that. We also had the summer feeding program that we are getting ready to do. We also contract with 2 other programs in the Cedar Valley to provide lunches. These are our numbers from currently the students who eat school meals daily. 29% of our students eat breakfast, 73% eat lunch. This is higher than the state average, which is great. Summer of 2025, we served about 13,000 meals. That's lunches. That doesn't count the breakfast and snacks that we also offered. The fresh fruit and vegetable program, like I said, that's offered to 9 of our elementaries this current year. That's a grant that they apply for. With that, we typically offer a fruit one day and a vegetable another day of the week, so 2 days a week. We decide that's probably about enough because it takes up some classroom time, so that way they get both a fruit and a vegetable. We try to do something different, like yucca sticks or turnip strips or pineapple. I really like pineapple. That's probably their favorite. Just whatever we can get that's pre-packaged but different. Quite often we get asked, how do you select your menus? It's a big question. Of course, we have to start the USDA guidelines. Of course, because they're the ones who are paying the bill in the end, so we have to follow their guidelines. Let's see. We start off by the age groups. Different age groups take different criteria. The criteria would be their calories, their saturated fats, the number of carbs, trans fats, sugars, whole grains, vegetable subgroups. Who would have known there's different vegetable subgroups? Green bean is not a green vegetable. Just want you guys to know that. If you ask the kids what vegetables they want carrots and corn every day and potatoes. Unfortunately, we have to throw in that lovely broccoli and the different ones that they don't always eat, but peas, that's another one. We also look at the calories by the age group. So different age groups, different calories. So we also look at the student preferences. We keep track of their production records. So if something is not selling really great, we look to replace that. What do we have? What options are there? We go to food shows, we look and see what they have. Last year we tried some whole muscle chicken patties versus the pressed chicken patties. Like more like what Chick-fil-A would have. We tried it, we got technical, we got QR codes, and we had them do the little quiz or survey. Do you like it? Do you like it better? Do you want to see it on the menu next year? Of course, it was a big hit. They liked that. So we added 2 new chicken patties, which are a whole grain or a whole muscle. They're also whole grain, so you still have that give and take. But so like I said, new items available. We go to food shows, we see what there's available. That is also fits the criteria for calories and sodium. We also have to look, of course, at our kitchen equipment, staff needs, what's available. Of course, the meal price, reimbursement rate. So we have the community eligibility program, the CEP, which all students eat free. Back in 2000, I think it was 18. You see my notes here. Yep, 2018, the board approved to do 10 schools, which was awesome. With those 10 schools, we noticed though the bills at the other schools, they weren't always paying for lunch, so we had a lot of negative accounts. So we came back to the board and said, hey, can we do all the schools? You guys agreed we could do that, which was awesome. So since 2020, all of our schools are CEP, which means they eat breakfast and lunch free. I would say our rates have increased since then. I couldn't tell you. I didn't bring the data. I'm sorry about that. But so right now, With the CEP, 96% of our students are free through the state. So that means 96% of our students meals that we serve, we get the higher rate through the USDA. So we have to recertify every 5 years for the CEP program. I think we have another 2 years before we have to recertify. So that's pretty much what I have. We do have, all the meals are, the students and families can look at the menus on Meal Viewer, which is an app. If you don't have it, I highly recommend it. It also has like their calories, the sodium, allergies on there, so they can pick before they even get to school what they're gonna have, especially if they have an allergy to soy. They can look and see what items have soy in them. So,
All right.
any questions? Yeah.
Yes.
What food?
You're,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
What food is like, how much is like made in the schools and how much is like bought pre-made, and what buildings cook, which don't?
Good question. All of our secondary schools cook.
Okay.
I mean, our elementaries are more of the open and, it's pretty much pre-made. But we've tried casseroles and stuff at the elementaries. The kids don't eat it, so we're throwing it away. I mean, we've tried tater tot casserole, in Iowa, we grew up on that. The kids will not touch it. We've tried,
So like back a million years ago, like when I was in school, the high schools would send the food to the elementaries. That's not something we do now.
all the elementary schools, since we have new schools, all have kitchens now. So they all are able to cook. The only thing that they would not cook is if there was a casserole, then the secondary school would cook that and send it over. Currently, we do not do any of that. Everything is made in the school.
Okay. I also just wanted to say that I have several people that I'm friends with and family members who work for the school food programs in different buildings, and they absolutely love it.
Good.
They love
good.
working
Good.
with the
We're glad to
with
hear
the
that.
food program. Yeah.
Good, thank you. We are looking for more summer sites, so if anybody who wants summer feeding, I have to know by May 1st. That's when the application's due, but.
So from your comments, it appears that the inversion of the food chain, or fruit pyramid, if you will, has not filtered down to USDA. And by that, I mean a lot more focus on protein, less on sugars and carbohydrates, and fewer restrictions on saturated fats. So has that changed yet on the school lunch program?
We're still on the healthy schools of 2010. They have not changed. They're lowering the sodium levels for this year, but they are, so far as the upside down pyramid, no, they haven't really done much on that one yet.
So it seems like that's an opportunity, if that were to be allowed, that we could do a lot more protein, which I think kids are.
Because right now it's 2 ounces per
Yeah.
is the average for middle and high school. Elementary, I think, is 1's what they average. We
But-
usually do about 2.
It seems like more protein and fewer sugars and carbs is probably a good
Yeah, right now
good
it's
change.
right. But yeah, as of right now, we have to go by their guidelines, and the grains, whole grains, we have to offer between 10 and 12 for a high schooler, and I think it's 8 and 10 for middle school, and it's a little bit lower for elementary.
And then do you try a local source?
We do some. We have done some. Mostly it's Martin Brothers is what we get most of our produce or our main groceries from. We also use Lafredo out of Des Moines for our produce, a lot of our produce. And local, we have tried some of the local like frozen items. That's just a little bit harder for us, but we do use some of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So how big a change are we expecting come through legislation this year for food? I know there's an initiative within the state. Are we expecting a significant change for next year?
They have not really told us a whole lot. Only thing they said is whole milk. We can allow whole milk, but I don't think the kids are going to drink it. So I'm not, they're going to drink their chocolate milk and it has to be skim. So.
Right, I don't know if anybody, I know there's stuff floating through there. I haven't heard all the details yet.
I know the sodium levels are they're saying it's going to be lowered. That's the only one that they told us a couple years ago on that one. So,
I don't know, little kids might drink, my kids still drink whole milk. Like,
Yeah.
some kids might like it. I don't know.
I'm glad you're here, but I don't want to berate you with a whole lot of questions.
Okay.
But I do have a few.
Okay.
And-
I'm ready. I'm ready.
And you mentioned we're in Iowa and some of the things that Iowans normally eat.
Mhm.
So I have a hard time because I actually visit the high schools a lot.
Mhm.
And I remember, and I understand the healthy schools of 2010 and the difference in what the meals look like now than
Right.
before. How much goes into thought of how healthy it is not to eat throughout the day compared to providing something that the students will eat, would like to eat?
I understand what you're
So-
saying, Esther. I
And then
do.
we live in Iowa, so
Mhm.
we have access to beef, we have access to pork, we have access to
Mhm.
corn, soybeans.
Mhm.
And I know in previous, and we've had this conversation, but I don't know if it's gotten to this level yet. Knowing that in 2 years we're going to be going to a new high school,
Mhm.
we know that we don't have any intentions on opening up lunch.
Right.
I think it matters what's provided or what the options are
Mhm.
for students. One, to get some nutrients while they're in school. We know that learning gets a little bit easier when you have a full stomach or you've
Right.
partaken in some food. Do you see us being able to eventually get a menu to where we can have, if not beef burgers, soybean burgers? If we can get a salad bar, if we can get things that students, would make them want to eat lunch, that are healthy options. Do you see us going? And what stops us from being able to have those type of options on a daily basis?
The salad bar probably is mostly just because of timing. Get those kids through the line the quickest. We had salad bars in the past, and with COVID, then it switched, and so we went to a pre-made salad.
Yeah.
And I know we do sell a lot of salads on those days, and the wraps and the sandwiches. As far as like the beef, we do have hamburgers on. We don't have any soy burgers currently because we just haven't had the asking for that.
Well, we didn't know they were soybean burgers at the time.
Oh.
We just knew they were Wall Hawk burgers, Charger burgers, and Trojan burgers. We had no idea they were soybean burgers until later on in life.
Oh, you mean the ones that are, okay, they're mixed.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
They were wrapped in foil, and
I think ours are more of a beef. I think we went to more of an all beef burger. Than
which is fine, which
less
is
soy.
even
Yeah,
probably
less
even
soy.
better.
Yeah.
Which is probably even better.
Uh-huh.
But we had that option. We had, even though we had open lunch, we had soybean burgers or Trojan burgers, Wall Hawk burgers, Trojan burgers, pizza.
Yep.
We had French fries.
Yeah, the French fries were in deep fryers, weren't they? Yeah, we can't do that. Nope. Yep, sorry. we do bake.
Let's get some industrial stoves. and-
Yeah, we
and
do
bake
baked French fries and the sweet potato fries
Yeah.
and the crinkle and the crisscross fries currently. Yeah, we do that. And we also have, what was the other thing you just said? Pizza. Yeah, we still make homemade pizza daily. Daily we make homemade pizza.
And even like the pasta, you said the casserole, the pasta options, the Alfredos, and the
Yep, we serve that as
spaghetti.
secondary. Yep.
The
They aren't a
reason-
big
the
seller.
reason
They're
why-
not big sellers, but we do sell them.
But the reason why, because there's a large portion of students, they might get a lunch,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a large portion of students that don't eat lunch. And we know when a student has those nutrients and that nourishment, they tend to pay attention a little more. They tend to excel a little more. So just thinking outside the box and having those options I think would greatly benefit our district. You know, with educational wise, and also making sure students are fed, making
Right.
sure they don't go hungry.
Yeah, we serve those items you serve. It's just that, we limited our menu because otherwise you're throwing away more food. Because the more items you offer, the more food you have to prepare. And if you don't serve it, where does it go? Into the trash.
The salad bar thing though, like when I was, again, a million years ago at West, like it was every day. There was a salad bar, and like if there was chili the day before, then the chili went to so there was always like just soup, basic, salad, there was cottage cheese, so it was always, that's what I ate every day because I could find something to eat. And so kind of what you're speaking of, like you can find something you like on there, is it just
There's
too
always
difficult to set up?
There's always lettuce available. It's secondary, always.
I didn't eat much of the lettuce.
That was like cottage cheese as a protein, so we would have to have it pre-dished. We'd have to have some supervision. We have to have it on ice. So there's all these different steps. Like any protein, you have to have it pre-portioned. You can't just go in there nowadays and pre-scoop it yourself or scoop it yourself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not like, at the restaurants where you go to a salad bar.
So were you involved in the new kitchen at all? I mean, the restrictions you're talking about can be overcome with equipment. Did we design?
Yeah, our kitchen's similar to Cedar Falls at school. Similar. The new kitchen.
So you're going to have fewer restrictions?
We still have to restrictions of the USDA
No, I mean,
guidelines.
equipment and restrictions.
No, we won't. We shouldn't have too many.
My other
restrictions
question is, can we petition for waivers? Can you petition or?
Not for these restrictions right here, no. Not the grains, not the protein, not the calories, not the sodium. Nope. You can do some whole grain restriction or some deviance from that. They give us some that you can do some things that are not whole grain, but you still have to have a certain percentage of your grains that are whole grain.
I guess I'm questioning, is the authority absolute, or if we
want our funding, yes.
But
Yeah.
it all depends on someone's decision. So if we apply for a waiver saying, saturated fats the harm of saturated fats is now determined to be overrated.
There's not, yeah.
So if we want to do French, things like that.
That's
Who would, I guess the question is, who would we petition?
that would be,
Hey, Lyle, I think what she's saying is they don't allow for that, and we would have to go to our legislature or
Right.
the USDA and, try to get the law
Yeah,
changed.
but because the basics are changed anyway, maybe they would change them a little sooner. More protein.
I hope. 'Cause
Ketchup still isn't like considered a fruit, is it?
ketchup is considered a condiment, which is high in sodium and sugar, so
Okay. Well, it was for a while, a long time ago.
Because we serve a lot of processed foods, correct?
we do.
So yeah, I always go back and forth. With
We try to have
processed
at least
foods being-
one semi-scratch menu item a day or.
Okay, and I think this is a much
so-
deeper conversation, so we'll
We'll
definitely come back to it.
I have one question off of yours, thinking about here, because we're talking about percentage of kids and what are eating in new high school. Because there may be, I don't know what percentage is of kids coming to from WCC who may be not eating lunch there that would be on site, wouldn't have that same opportunity. So our percentage of people eating lunch on site could go up at the new building.
They're currently eating at the WCC. They're
No,
going.
I'm talking about kids that are in transport.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they bring a Chick-fil-A and McDonald's.
Yeah, we see it all the time. Yeah, on the way in.
So it may be that
they time the routes.
Yeah.
But if it's all on one site, the percentage of on-site eaters could be increasing as we,
Right.
Yeah, that's the goal. That's the goal. So,
Yeah,
it's
like I said, our percentages are still higher than the state average, so that's great.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Thank you.
all right, thank
This
you.
is just for information only, so thank you again. Appreciate you.
Yep, thank you.
All right. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Oh, no, we're here.
We're the consent agenda.
The consent agenda.
Yep.
Yes, we have arrived.
Yes, yes. I was looking for it. Tonight's consent agenda consists of 5 items. Item 1, approval of minutes of the March 30th, 2026 special board meeting and March 30th, 2026 regular board meeting. Item 2, personnel appointments and adjustments. Item 3, bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. Item 4, WCC travel to FCCLA National Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. And item 5, board meeting dates. Are there any items that board members want to see removed?
2 and 4.
Item 2 and item 4, are there any other? Okay. Seeing no others, can I get a motion to put items 1, items 3, and item 5 on the table?
Second?
All those in favor of approving items 1, 3, and 5, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That brings us to item 2. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the personnel items as listed.
So moved.
Second.
All right, Lau, you're up.
Yeah, under resignations, I see there's 3 elementary teachers and 3 math teachers. Wow. Do you do exit interviews?
We offer them to anybody that wants to do them. So they can do them at the building level with their administrator, but we also, as part of the resignation process, they fill out a form as to would they recommend the district, why are they leaving, would they like to do an exit interview with HR.
So are we losing any of these to other districts?
We don't know for sure unless they tell us what their goals are. I believe, I couldn't speak to the 3 elementary teachers off the top of my head. As I've looked through those, I know one of the math teachers is moving to another district. Another one is moving entirely out of state. I look at that and there are 10 certified resignations. It's not unusual for us to have 40 resignations of teachers over the course of a year. Sorry, I flipped that question on you a little bit, Lyle.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about what's usual. I'm concerned about the impact these resignations, the turnover has, and what can we do? What can we do to reduce the turnover? Are we doing something, especially if we're losing them to other districts not associated with moving residences? And I don't know if that was the case, but the other question is, are we capable of recruiting great math teachers under the current structure, or do we need to have a special incentive?
I don't know that I could answer that at the moment. We have hired a couple math teachers as needed. We haven't had open math positions recently.
So these 3 are all replaced?
No, because they just resigned, so the positions are posted now. But I mean, in the past, we've worked to replace all of our math positions.
It seems like we should need to know specifically why teachers are leaving, particularly if it has to do with something that's under our control.
So that is something we look at each building. I would say that we track our retention numbers year to year. The last 2 years, we've retained 90 to 92% of our teachers, which compared to urban districts across the country, their retention rates normally look around 62%, I believe is what the number is. So we're doing fairly well in terms of retaining our teachers. But when we have over 850 teachers in the district, we're going to have 40 to 50 that leave every year just as part of the natural process.
It seems like we're a little late in the year to get the cream of the crop, so to speak, of new graduates, but
Just to follow up, a quick, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
You mentioned that they're given the option to do an exit interview. What has kind of been the trend? Do you see people will do the exit interviews, or it's kind of like, oh, they just avoid that and move on? Has there been a trend? Do you get a high percentage, or no, not really?
I would not say we get a high percentage. I think I have about 10 that are interested in doing it right now. We normally don't make them, or we ask them when you want to do it. Do you want to do it right now? Do you want to wait until the end of the year? Most of them say they want to wait until May to do those, and then we'll have those conversations.
Okay.
A lot of the buildings, the administrators already know that people are going to resign before they resign because they have the conversations with them and know what is prompting them to resign.
can we incentivize those exit interviews somehow?
What do you have in mind?
Either stick or carrot.
I don't think you can
You
say
know,
that.
I don't think you
an
can
extra-
use a stick at that point.
An extra, $100 or something to do an interview, exit interview, or I don't know.
Yeah, we absolutely could. I can just tell you I mean, if that's up to the board, if that's something the board wants us to do. Yeah, I'm looking at you guys.
It's important information.
It is, and
It is.
we do track all of that. So we have a resignation form that we ask people to fill out regardless of the reason they resign, so we can track the why behind it. Again, like I said, the building administrators have a pretty good idea of what's going on, and if we see a very large number of resignations from any building, we're going to have a conversation and figure out what's going on there. When we do have those exit interviews, I normally present it as, hey, this is what I looked at. I read what your resignation reason was. This is really your time. Tell me what you think, like give me some ideas about what you really enjoyed in the Waterloo schools. What would you change? Is it something to do with your building, your content area? Give me feedback so we can make it better for the next person that comes through.
That was my question. Are they done on an HR level, or are they done on a business or a building level with an administrator? And is that option available for them? So if they feel more comfortable coming to HR, having that exit interview with HR, or they have that, they feel more comfortable with their building administrator, is there an option, or who normally gives the exit interviews, and are they given an option?
So when we, on the form, it's asked, do you want to participate in an exit interview with human resources? And then it would be either me or Charlotta that meets with them.
Okay. Could you add the building administrator and
if
then,
they'd rather
and then
do it at
get
the
that-
building?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes HR might seem a little scary, even though it's an ex. I mean, some people, so they may feel a little bit more comfortable with their administrator. So,
Or their last half day, allow them to do the interview in lieu of the other stuff.
Yeah, I don't necessarily, it doesn't matter to me how they do it. I agree that the information is important on the why. I also know I don't feel like we've had a inordinate number of resignations yet this year. It feels pretty normal at this point. It just happens to be that 3 of them were math teachers so far. I don't know why that is.
all right.
Could be unrelated. I mean,
Yeah.
Look at the draw.
Are there any more questions?
I was gonna say, rather than, part of me's like, rather than, like try to offer incentive to give me an interview, I'd rather like, do you figure out how to give an incentive to stay? But there is something to be said for, having employees that stay around for a while and, other than this, they're contracted, increases, whatever, but, is there a way, I don't want, almost like a 5-year, a 10-year, something like a service award after so many years. I don't know what we do for that kind of stuff, but I mean, other companies do that. I mean, I get, one on usually a 5-year increment or something that, and it goes up forever, a little bit more for every additional 5 years you've been there. So, I mean, that might be a way to,
I think there may be a little bit of a feeling amongst some employees that when they do an exit interview, that the information isn't really going to be, I guess, used, you know, so if maybe we can somehow make that more clear, and that's not you at all.
Oh, no, I hear what you're saying. Yeah.
If there's just some way we can articulate that it's important, tell us the good, bad, the ugly, you know.
So one piece that I find really interesting or telling in that resignation sheet is one of the questions is, would you recommend Waterloo Schools as a place for friends or family to work? And I would say out of that, there 96 out of 100 say yes. So I feel a lot of the people that are leaving do recommend and are leaving for a different reason rather than the schools itself. So when I see no on there, that makes me want to dig a little bit deeper or to have a conversation with somebody to say, hey, what's really going on here?
That makes sense. Any more questions? All right, so all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That brings us to the next item on our consent agenda, WCC travel to FCCLA National Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve travel for the WCC advisor and students to attend the FCCLA National Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C. from July 6th through the 10th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
I think they may, yeah. I see we have Miss Tracy, Gold Star teacher.
I don't know how you do this. Every time I come here, I think, how are they so patient 2 times a month to sit here, and I marvel at it. Thank you. So I'm asking for your permission, approval, and prayers to take 4 students to Washington, D.C. To compete. I'll quickly go over what they competed in and how they did. So can I say their full names? Is that all right? I can?
I think it's since you're taking them, yes.
Okay.
I believe
Naima
so.
Haynes competed in an early childhood competition where she used the information that she learned in Jane Frost's early education classes. She had to prepare instruction, and then when she got there, she presented it, and then they had a case study. Say the case study was, you have 4 2-year-olds that get in a brawl over in the corner, and you have to figure out how you're going to solve it. So I don't know what her case study was, and it will be different at nationals. So it's just interesting. How are you going to handle this? This is the situation. Oliver Poor competed in the nutrition and wellness activity, where he tracked his food intake and physical activity, and then he determined goals and how to make himself healthier and improve his health. Linnea Duran and Kaya Cooked competed in food innovations, where they created an original prototype formula for a food, and they had to test it with focus groups and create packaging for it and take that. Then they don't actually take the sample. They've already gone through all the focus groups, and the focus groups rated and determine whether it's good or not and what changes they should make. So that's what they'll be competing in nationals. There'll be a lot of different breakout groups, leadership groups, and things that they can grow and learn from while we are there. Also, it's Washington, D.C., so there's lots to do. So questions about what we'll do or why we're going, or?
Well, so these students each had to qualify?
They qualified in March at the state
Okay.
competition.
So that's what determined how many.
And they all got gold. I had 4 compete. I had 5. You know, attendance isn't always great, so I had 5 signed up and 1 didn't show up to compete. So I ended up with 4, but that's pretty good that they all got gold.
Yeah, excellent.
And it's not a testament to me. I didn't even see Oliver's. These are just high-end kids. I didn't even see Oliver's presentation. He did it all on his own. So these are kids that are doing it all by themselves, and that's pretty cool. The rubrics that they're competing at and what they have to present and put in their presentations are pretty big, pretty broad.
So what motivates students to?
I think career choices. These 4 students are leaders. and they know what they want to do, and they picked a competition that fit their personality and their career choices, and they just took it and took it upon themselves to further themselves, I would say, Lyle.
But they
Kinda
need a
cool.
sponsor.
Yeah, their flights, this year, their flights and hotel rooms will be paid through Perkins. Next year, that's not gonna happen. So this is the last year for that. They pay for their own food. And then any extracurricular things that we want to do while we're there.
Make sure, as we were talking about highlighting former students, former
Mhm.
Waterloo Community School students that are doing great things and could come back and talk about whatever avenue they pursued. You make sure you tell Ms. Jones to contact her uncle, who's a Waterloo Schools graduate.
Kaya?
And
Or no, Naima?
no, Kaya.
Okay,
And if you could fit that into your schedule,
all right.
make that a point. He's doing quite well. Clarence Thomas is his neighbor,
Okay,
so make sure.
I'll ask her tomorrow.
Yeah.
If you know,
Make sure
if you know her at all, she is fun to have around.
Yes, yes. Quiet, but fun. So make sure, and I'll reach out to him as well.
Okay,
So you can put that on, try to put that on the agenda as well.
any more questions that I can answer? These are a fun group of kids.
Thank you for all you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Right back at you.
Yep.
Is there
And this-
anything they have to do ahead of time in these categories, or will it all happen there? Because like the one, with the focus groups and stuff, does that happen there?
She doesn't know what the focus group, what will be for her case study. So it's just on the fly, and it could be anything. It's early childhood, so it has to relate to that age of students, but it could be anything. She doesn't know. They present their same presentation that they did at state. Naima is the only one that has that weird situation where they do something on the fly for her. You got to be ready, but that's teaching.
I'm having like flashbacks to extemporaneous speaking in high school. Anyway, no,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
Yeah.
So congratulations and good luck.
Thank you.
I
Thank you. I'll
think-
let you know how they did.
I think this is one of those opportunities that we've been able to provide in the Waterloo Community Schools that a lot of students may not, with the WCC, that most students probably would never have the experience to be able to do. So
All of the
that's a-
trips that I've been able to take with
Yeah.
students have been outstanding, and it'll look different next year when we don't completely fund their trips. We'll just have to figure out a way to make those trips happen, whether it's deeper fundraising through the CTSOs or whatever that looks like, but
Absolutely.
they still need to happen, because
Yes.
I've taken a lot of cool trips with kids.
I mean, you really think of trips or experiences for these children that may set them on a whole different course
Yeah.
in their life.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't know, I don't recognize either four children going, but, I don't know if they've ever, for summer kids, they've never been out in the state, and it might be an opportunity that just opens their eyes to something a lot bigger, so.
Kai had never been to Cedar Rapids, so.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
The last one here.
Ooh. Let me get back to my agenda. That ends our consent agenda. The next item on our agenda is for information only, and it is our financial information. And our own JT Anderson, CFO, can give us a little bit more information on our financials.
Yeah, these financials are from January, so again, we're slowly making progress. We'll have the February reports at the next board meeting here in April. So we're trying to get more efficient with that, onboarding new people in the process, so we'll get there. So again, I appreciate your patience through that. The financial report, page 1, that was included in your packet, there was a mistake in that, on that page, so I did hand out a revised page to all of you at your seat. So if we look at that new page one, the mistake was in the Save Fund, Fund 33, in that year-to-date revenue column. It had a year-to-date revenue of 1.7 million. That was the month to date. That was the January total. The actual year-to-date total was 9.3 million. So that was the adjusted amount. That was the only thing adjusted on the report, but it did impact then the balance revenues, which is the second column from the right, and then also the fund balance, the ending fund balance there. So the ending fund balance and Save is 56.2 million instead of 48.7 million, if you just wanted to make note of that. Just monitoring our progress as we look at this year as compared to last year at this time. Our general fund revenues are up about 10% from prior year, about $7.5 million. Majority of that is property tax, as well as an increase in state aid, as we've talked about in prior months. Our expenditures, we are down about 4.2 million from this time last year. So again, we're making progress on both sides of the equation. Salaries are down 3.5%. Benefits are down 2.7%, and those again are our largest expenditures in the general fund. So the decisions that we made a year ago, as far as increasing the property tax rate, as well as the budget reductions that we have put in place, are making a difference in the actual financial numbers. They're really, I'll be honest, January is kind of a boring month. There's not a lot of unusual things that happen. You will notice if you look at the PEPL fund, it still does track as a negative fund balance of about $280,000 as of January. As I've said before, that's a property tax levying fund. The revenues, for those funds, the revenue comes in at two periods throughout the year, in October and April. So actually, as we sit today, the PEPL fund is a positive balance, but we do have one major expense left. We are expecting to get the 3 buses that haven't come in yet out of PEPL. So I anticipate that happening before year ends, but long story short, I anticipate to have a positive balance in PEPL at the end of the year.
So have you received the spring?
We received a bit on Monday. Yeah.
Okay.
Or last Friday, sorry. Yep.
Right, and that's a couple million.
For PEPL.
Yeah.
Yep, about 1.8. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just, do you happen to know, the 56 on Fund 33, Save, the 56, that's available to spend for construction separate from the debt service 40? Is that correct?
The debt, yes. The Save, if you go to the next page, page 2, you can see on the cash, it's not exactly because of the accrual piece of the accounting, but the Save capital projects have 57 million in cash. That's to be used for the construction project. Specifically, the 47.7 is the bond proceeds, what we have left over as of January. The checking account and the IceJet, there is some of that has to be transferred for our bond, our monthly bond payments transfers, but the vast majority of that is for construction.
Okay. And you happen to know what that is currently? I assume there's been 2 major payments.
Yeah. I think it's just right at about 41.
Okay.
Yep. Because there was a 2.7 and a 3.3 million Larson payment in February, and then one in March.
And we get paid, we get invoiced monthly?
They send a monthly.
Okay.
Yep. Progress payment.
So it's running 3 to 4 million a month?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Anything else? Nice. Thank you. Appreciate that, JT. Good information. And that was just for information only. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, board policy changes, second reading. The following policies have been reviewed by the district leadership team and the policy review committee and are being presented for second reading. The policies were presented for first reading on March 30th, 2026. The policies are as follows. Policy number 102.0, equal educational opportunity. Policy 401.05, employee records. Policy number 402.01, release of credit information. Policy 402.04, gifts to employees. Policy number 403.03, communicable diseases employees. Policy number 403.04, hazardous chemical disclosure. And policy number 409.03, employee, family, and medical leave. Can we get a motion to put those on the table?
Second?
And any questions, comments? I think we went over these at the last board meeting as well. All right, seeing no questions, all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye, motion carried. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Item 14, board policy changes, first reading. The following policies have been reviewed by the district leadership team and the policy review committee and are being presented for first reading. Oh, shoot. In the essence of time, and with it being the first reading, and with our own Pam Ardorfer, I don't want to put Ms. Lee on the spot just now. I won't go through all of them. These are for first reading, unless you want me to go through one in particular so that we can make a note of it. And then we can email our Pam with any information, or Stacy, Jonathan has left, so Stacy's on the policy review committee as well, so.
Most of these, all the 700s are JTs, so he can kind of just explain, especially like the deletion stuff.
Yeah, I was going to note that it seems like there might be a lot of policies under that deletion line, I guess, but just know that most of those are incorporated into the new policies. That really the only one I would say that's a true delete is the naming rights. I think that was really the only one that's not being incorporated into the language of these new policies, if you will.
So are those our deletions, or are those recommendations from IASB? For deletion?
Both, mainly from ISB. I mean, a lot of the 700 was just cleaning it up, and there were just so many and a lot of redundancy. So just trying to go through and be more concise and really have the information that is pertinent to 700. Yeah.
All right. And if you're not on policy review and this is your homework, if you see something, make sure you reach out to Pam or JT.
There was a whole bunch of, weird, like one thing would, half of it would be mentioned here in this policy.
Gotcha.
So
duplications and just cleaning it up a little bit. So
yeah, and it's probably
that's
best
good to know.
It's probably best to contact Pam.
Okay.
'Cause she's
Yeah,
way
I
more
agree.
organized than I am, and then she can. So
Nothing against you, but
no, I know my limitations for sure.
she's my fave. So just for a little while longer. Yes, absolutely. 2 months. Yeah, and this is just for first reading, and this is just for information only. All right, so that ends our action items for the evening, and now on to the superintendent's report.
Yeah, you guys kind of stole my thunder a little bit, because I was actually going to just say, hey, we got a new face at the table here. What were you going to say?
I'm always last. So.
Oh, shoot. Well, hey, Lee has stepped up. Lee is transitioning into Pam's role. Pam had to be out of town for a couple days, but I showed up. Well, let's reverse that. Lee showed up after a meeting for transportation earlier today with Durham, which was a good transition conversation with Durham. Walk upstairs and Lee's saying, hey, I'm going to step up and be at the table and take notes. And I'm like, wait, you're going to sit up here? And she said, yep. I'm like, that is a go-getter right there, that she says, hey, I'm ready to take this all on. So Lee's done a great job. Obviously, we've mentioned Pam a few times. Really going to miss her. She said she's actually watching at home, you guys. So, hey, Pam, good to see you. She's taking care of her daughter there. But Lee's done a great job. We're super excited to have you here. And you leave big shoes to fill over at the WCC in your old role. And I know they had a lot of applicants for that job, and I think it's either coming down but either way, welcome Lee to the table. I don't know, Pam will be back a couple more times, so I'm not sure where you'll be seated exactly, but we're excited to have you here. So that was it. That's all I had that was all I had. There's a lot going on, hiring, negotiations. We got that going on tomorrow night. We've got pretty much every night this week we got something going. So, but either way, it's good stuff.
Nice. Thank you, Dr. Smith. Tonight with board comments, we'll start with Director Knight.
All right. Just two things here, kind of somewhat related. One, I wanted to thank the communication group. I had time to spend some time going over the website updates and how it's navigable and stuff, and definitely some nice upgrades there. It runs a little faster, and as far as link access to different schools and different other information there. So I know that was a big push to get that upgraded. I think there were some platform changes underneath that, and it definitely seems to be a step up from the previous. Not that previous bad. It's just technology and software changes over time. So getting some refresh there, and then just I know they have had a lot of communication on road construction happening at Katowski and Green Hill coming up with that, and I'm starting to see some of that floating around as well. But just a reminder to the community that that is going to happen starting stuff like a week from today, and it will have a major impact on a lot of our travelers, students, staff, and also other people in the community that use those right-of-ways to get around. So just be ready, and hopefully everybody's a little patient, and that will keep everybody safe during this transition of that road.
Thank you, Director Knight. Director Mills.
I don't really have anything tonight. Thank you to everyone who came.
Thank you, Director Mills. Director Ewing.
Just wanted to mention my thanks for, I think it was either last week or the week before, I can't remember, when the power went out downtown, and how the district reacted and how the teachers reacted, and how we have professionals that can take care of that. I was in my office across from East High, and everything went and everything went dark, and I started texting teachers over at East, like, you guys got power over there? No, we don't. And it's testing time, so I was like, oh my goodness. But thanks, guys.
Thank you, Director Ewing. Director Matlock.
Thank you. I just want to say a few thank yous. As I always say, love the board celebrations with Poynter and Cunningham. Thank you to the Iowa Department of Education for that grant, and the School Improvement Advisory Committee. That is a great committee to serve on. Thank you, Director Mills, for advising me to sit on that committee. I love to see action steps. A lot of times we serve on committees and you really don't see things move. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of these things come into fruition as we continue to work together. It seems like the last few times that I've been interacting with Waterloo Schools, it's been about building partnerships. And so thank you to Dr. Smith and the other DLT members who went to go visit 1619 Freedom School last week. I appreciate the invitation, and a huge thank you to Sarita Stokes for taking her time to give us a tour and share the impact that they're having on the students. There is a lot of capacity there, to bring in more students. So I'm hoping we can continue to cultivate that relationship with them. They have some good things going on. She talked about one young man where he really did not like to read, and after going through that program, she sees him now, and it's like, wait, I tried to get you to read all these books and you wouldn't even do that. And now he's writing and reading and doing all sorts of things. So that is a literacy program, and hopefully we can have some of our teachers make some recommendations, to the 1619 Freedom School. So huge thank you to Sharita and that staff over there and all they do. And also I met George at we have a big research day at Wartburg College on Thursday, and I met George from the Boys and Girls Club. And we had an intern there, and some of the things they were talking about, their social work interns were doing things about social and emotional learning and teaching learning resiliency and all these things. And so I want us to continue to cultivate that relationship with the Boys and Girls Club. And so when I talk about community partnerships, how it can impact our kids and how we can be partners with these different organizations to help our students reach those goals and to reach the, so they can develop that diploma and a plan. We're all in this together. And I totally believe that if we work with our partnerships, we can make bigger moves for our students. So hopefully we continue to cultivate those relationships. And I also want to mention that on Saturday, April 18th, we'll be celebrating 14 Waterloo Schools girls at the Club La Dame's Debutante Cotillion. It's a total of 16 young ladies, 14 from Waterloo Schools, 2 from Cedar Falls. We've been doing this for 39 years within the community, and we'll be celebrating these young ladies, and 2 of the young ladies will be going on the DC trip that are debutantes this weekend. So huge shout out to them. They're at dance rehearsal right now with their escorts, learning their dance for the evening. So if you're not busy, come out on Saturday night at 7 at the Waterloo Convention Center. We would love to see you there celebrate our students with Waterloo Schools. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Matlock. Director Schmidt.
Yeah, just 2 short items. One is, I don't know if you've been getting reports, windshield reports from people driving by the new high school, but it's mostly like, wow, things are really happening. So community is definitely seeing it. The other thing, I'd just like to underscore the whole marketing thing, that perhaps we need to be a little more intentional about the audiences we need to communicate with and what the messages should be, as well as the appropriate media for each of those particular audiences. So I think we've got really a lot to sell, a lot to market. We haven't in the past really thought that as a core requirement, but I think now it probably is. That's all.
Oh, short and sweet.
Yep.
Thank you, Director Schmidt. I do want to thank Lee for stepping in, and I mentioned earlier before everybody got up here, I'm like, oh, you're off to a good start. Fresh cold water was waiting. Everything was set up nice. Your booklets were on the table, so great job on your first day. We look forward to many more board meetings working with you and beyond. So we're looking forward to it. We miss you, Pam, but take care of what you need to take care of as well. I do want to thank the Department of Education for that large grant, helping our district in any way possible. All those that came and spoke and presented, Pointer Elementary School, Dr. Walter Cunningham School for Excellence. We truly enjoy hearing all the wonderful things that are going on in the buildings, and being able to see the students, whether in person or things that they are actually learning and getting to participate in, as Pointer mentioned with the music and the other classes as well. Let me get piggybacking on what Director Matlock said, the cotillion is on April 18th, and the botillion will be on April 25th, and we have 12 bows, 9 of which who are Waterloo Community Schools future graduates. So if you can, come out and support those young men as well. We'll be at the Waterloo Center for the Arts at 7 p.m. on April 25th. Let me get my dates up. I had a lot going on here today. Just a reminder that there will be no school on April 17th for a PD day. The next time we'll be in this board meeting, our board room will be for a board meeting at 5 p.m. on April 27th. On April 30th, we have the Waterloo Schools Foundation Sparking Academic Excellence Breakfast. Doors open at 6:45 a.m. Program starts at 7:30 a.m. If you have not ever participated or been in attendance of this breakfast, this is a wonderful opportunity to see every building in the district represented, with great things. Students will be present. You can go around and talk to each one of the buildings and the students that are represented. And a huge shout out and thank you to the Waterloo Schools Foundation, the board of directors, the individuals who thought more than just themselves to, I think it was 12 years ago, I believe. Don't have me get my dates wrong. But those individuals that have been a part of the Waterloo Schools Foundation at any point, whether you served on the board, whether you were instrumental in creating the Waterloo Schools Foundation, you hear some of the great stories and opportunities that our students and our staff have been able to benefit from the service of the Waterloo Schools Foundation. So if you have not been able to attend that breakfast before, make sure you get your ticket and come support the Waterloo Schools Foundation and all of our students and faculty and staff in the Waterloo Community Schools on that day. Am I missing anything for the board members? Yes, they provided the keyboards. That was a grant through the Waterloo Schools Foundation. So it seems like every 2 weeks we're mentioning them or they're a direct we're a direct recipient of either staff or students from the Waterloo Schools Foundation. So Hannah and her team, Skylar and the board of directors do a wonderful job of supporting the district. Are there anything that board members have that I may have omitted? Nope. Seeing nothing. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Second?
All right. All those in favor state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. We're adjourned. Thank you.
I will text you tomorrow what I find out. Okay.